Hello everyone. A group of similar cells that have a common function are called as tissues. There are many basic types of tissues. So today let us discuss something more related to this in our lesson tissues. Tissue, an aggregation of similarly specialized cells which together perform specialized functions, are called tissues. Here is a table showing the different types of plant tissue. This is a picture of a typical meristematic tissue, which has a nucleus and cytoplasm. Meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissues are composed of cells that divide continuously. The cells are spherical, oval, polygonal, or rectangular. The cell wall is thin and made up of cellulose. The cells are closely arranged without intercellular spaces. Cytoplasm is abundant and nuclei are large. Vacuoles are absent and if present they are very few. Classification of meristems. They are divided into three: apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. Apical meristem, the position is at the root tip and the shoot tip. Function: to increase in length of the axis. Lateral meristem, its position on the lateral side of stem and root. Function: to increase in diameter of plant. Intercalary meristem, position is at the base of the leaf, internodes or leaf. Function: to increase the length of the plant or its organs. Function of meristematic tissue. The function of meristematic tissue is to continuously form a number of new cells and help in growth. It forms permanent tissues. Permanent tissues. When the cells formed by meristematic tissue takes up to a specific role and lose the ability to divide, as a result they perform a permanent tissue. This process of taking up a permanent shape, size and a function is called differentiation. Cells of meristematic tissue differentiate to form different types of permanent tissue. Here is a table showing different types of permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissue. A simple tissue is made up of one type of cells that form a homogeneous or uniform mass. Simple plant tissues include parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma. Cells are isodiametric, that is equally expanded on all sides. They may be oval, round, polygonal or elongated. Nucleus is present and hence leaving. The cell walls are thin and made up of cellulose. Cytoplasm is dense with a single large vacuole. Intercellular spaces may be present. May contain chlorophyll. Parenchyma which contain chlorophyll are called chlorenchyma. There are two types of parenchyma, that is erenchyma and chlorenchyma. Occurrence. Found in the cortex of root, ground tissue in stems and mesophyll of leaves. Function. Store and assimilate food. Give mechanical strength by maintaining turgidity. Prepare food if chlorophyll is present. Store waste products like tannin, gum, crystals and resins. Collenchyma. The cells are elongated and are circular, oval or polygonal in cross section. Cell wall is unevenly thickened with cellulose at the corners against the intercellular spaces. Nucleus is present and hence the tissue is living. Vacuoles are small. Intercellular species are generally absent. If they contain chlorophyll, they are known as chlorenchyma. Occurrence: found under skin that is below the epidermis in dicot stems. Function: provide mechanical support to the stem. Being extensible, these cells readily adapt themselves to the rapid elongation of the stem. Sclerenchyma: the cells are long, narrow, thick, and lignified, usually pointed at both ends. The cell wall is evenly thickened with lignin and sometimes is so thick that the cell cavity or lumen is absent. Nucleus is absent and hence the tissue is made up of dead cells. They have simple, often oblique pits in the walls. The middle lamella, that is the wall between adjacent cell, is conspicuous. Occurrence: found abundantly in the stems of plants like hemp, jute, and coconut. It is present in stems around vascular plants, in the leaves, hard covering of seeds and nuts. Function: gives mechanical support to the plant by giving rigidity, flexibility, and elasticity to the plant body. Here is a picture showing three types of tissues, that are parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Complex permanent tissues. These are made up of more than one types of cells which combine together to work as a unit. They transport water and food material to various parts of the plant body. They are of two types, xylem and phloem. Here is a picture showing xylem and phloem. Xylem. This complex tissue helps in the transport of water and soluble mineral nutrients from the roots to all parts of the plant body. It also helps in replacing the water lost during transpiration and photosynthesis. Components of xylem: those are tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma, and xylem fiber. Phloem. This tissue is found in the vascular plants. Its function is to transport sugars and other food materials from the leaves to the rest of the parts of the plant body. Xylem and phloem together form the vascular bundle. Components of phloem: those are sieve tube element, companion cell, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fiber. Vascular bundle. Xylem and phloem together form the vascular bundle. Here is a picture showing vascular tissue. Animal tissues. Let us see tissue types. Although our body parts are diverse in both structure and function, they are all constructed from four basic tissue types. First one, epithelial tissue. Covers the body, lines cavity of the body and composes the glands. Second one, connective tissue. Connects and supports the structures of the body, providing structural support and binding organs together. Muscular tissue. Has the unique capability to contract or shorten, provides movement and heat for the body. Nervous tissue. Composed of specialized cells that respond to the environment by detecting, processing, and coordinating information. Have a look at the classification of animal tissues. Four types of tissue: connective tissue, epithelial tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. Tissues in the human body: epithelial, covering or lining tissue; connective, joints, stores, and supports; Muscle, internal and external movement. Nerve, conducts electrical signals. Epithelial tissue lines the body surface, cavities, ducts, and tubes. One free surface faces a body fluid or the environment. The covering or protective tissues in the animal body are called epithelial tissues. Characters of epithelial tissues. Cells are tightly packed without intercellular spaces. Epithelium is usually separated from the underlying tissue by an extracellular fibrous basement membrane. Epithelial tissues. Different epithelia show differing structures that correlate with their unique functions. Further on, let us discuss different types of epithelial tissues. Characters of squamosal epithelium. Cells are thin and flat and form a delicate lining. Cells are like tiles on the floor. Location of squamosal epithelium. Inner lining of blood vessels, inner lining of lung alveoli, inner lining of mouth, and inner lining of esophagus. Cuboidal epithelium. Cells are cube-shaped. Location of cuboidal epithelium. Lining of kidney tubule, lining of ducts of salivary glands. Columnar epithelium. It has tall epithelial cells. Cells may have cilia or without cilia. Location of columnar epithelium. First one, interlining of the respiratory tract. Second one, interlining of the oviduct. Stratified epithelium. The skin which protects the body is also made up of squamous epithelium. Skin epithelial cells are arranged in many layers to prevent wear and tear. Since they are arranged in a pattern of layers, the epithelium is called stratified squamous epithelium. Location of stratified epithelium are skin, esophagus. Connective tissue. Cartilage, bone, tendon, blood, ligament, adipose, and areola. Bone. It is a strong and non-flexible tissue. Bone cells are embedded in a hard matrix that is composed of calcium and phosphorus compounds. Bone cells are called osteocytes. Cartilage. It has widely spaced cells. The solid matrix is composed of proteins and sugars. Cells are called chondrocytes. Cartilage locations. It is between the bones at the joints. It smoothens bone surfaces at joints. In the nose, ear, trachea, and larynx, it is also present. Areola tissue. It consists of a jelly-like matrix in which there are several kinds of cells and interlacing bundles of fibers. The fibers are of two kinds, white and yellow. The yellow fibers are very resistant to stretching, but the yellow fibers can be stretched and are called yellow elastic fibers. Some of the cells are able to consume and destroy germs and so play a valuable part in the body's defensive system against diseases. Adipose tissue. Adipose tissue is a loose fibrous connective tissue packed with many cells that are specialized for storage of triglycerides, more commonly referred to as fats. Function of adipose tissue. Storage of fat. Acts as an insulator, that is, prevents the heat loss from the body. Tendon. Tendons connect muscles to bone. Ligament. Ligament connect bone to bone. Here is a picture showing tendon and ligament. Muscular tissue. Muscular tissue consists of elongated cells, also called muscle fibers. This tissue is responsible for movement in our body. Muscles contain special proteins called contractile proteins, which contract and relax to cause movement. Three types of muscle tissue: skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. Characters of striated muscles. It is cylindrical, unbranched. Striations. It has many nuclei. is attached to the bones, and those are voluntary muscles that is under our control. Characters of smooth muscles. These are unbranched and spindle shaped. There are no striations. It has single nucleus. It is involuntary muscle. It is found in the walls of the visceral organs. Cardiac muscle. It is branched and cylindrical. Striations are there, but they are not prominent. There are many nuclei. It is an involuntary muscle found in the walls of heart. Nervous tissue. All cells possess the ability to respond to stimuli. However, cells of the nervous tissue are highly specialized for being stimulated and then transmitting the stimulus very rapidly from one place to another within the body. The brain, spinal cord, and nerves are all composed of the nervous tissue. The cells of this tissue are called nerve cells or neurons. Structure of the neuron. Cell body is the main part. Dendrite receives action potential from other neurons. Axon branches from cell body where the action potential occurs. Axon terminal, it is the end of an axon. Myelin sheath, it is a lipid layer for protection over neurons. Nodes of Ranvier, it is the gaps in myelin sheath. So this was all about our lesson, tissues. The tissues are essential because it represents a level of organization in living organism. They function by transporting nutrients and connects bones and other body parts. So learning about them is very important. Thank you, students.